Okay, so for the bonding, what I've done, I've set up obviously a run here, somewhere neutral where neither of them have ever been before. I've made sure there's two Heidis in here, both of which they can both get in and out of, like, so, wow, like two-way, so no one gets cornered. I've put some little treats down in this grass, some grass and forage with piles of hay, and I've spread it out and that just so that they don't go for the same thing. And I've also popped let me borrow a water bottle. Oh, obviously water. I've also popped the little one in first, and he's over here under there, just because he's not likely going to be the dominant one, and he's more likely to be the submissive one. So you pop the submissive one in first, just so that they can, the dominant one can then establish the, obviously that's in that, like that's the submissive. He, like, it just helps, like, with any arguing and that. And I'm now going to just grab him. I'm not putting his, because I know you said he likes his Heidi in there. So what I don't want to do is put the Heidi in there, as he'll see it more as his territory as well, which may cause bickering. So I've used just cardboard in there at the moment. And now, it's okay. Right, so we've got him. I'm just going to start off, because usually when it's two old ones, you put them opposite ends and let them meet. But I'm just going to pop him there, because obviously with him being a baby. But they're both in, like, literally this is no issue at all. Mate, I'm just going to move the Heidi a little bit so that they can have a bit of a... See, normally I leave the Heidis in a little bit, just so that they can establish ground. But as they seem alright, we'll just take the Heidi away so that they can sort of roam and see each other and that now. And just make sure that they're not just scared hiding, because they obviously can't go and hide anywhere. But when you add the third one, see, eating, they're like literally not bothered. And they're sharing from the same patch as well, which is good. So you can see obviously the little one's also following him, which again is a really good sign, and it's sort of a dominant and submissive, so there's no argument or anything in it. You can see they're trying to share food, that means there's no issue. They're literally so easy to bond, babies. Oh, I thought he was going to sneak out then. But this will sort of be the same when you add the third one. Obviously, what you want to do though, golden rule, is leave them in this environment. So like in a run somewhere unfamiliar. Two-way Heidis are essential. Sort of, obviously in this case I've been able to take it away because they seem absolutely fine. Piles of hay, treats and that's always good, like breaker. And then you sort of want to just monitor it until they both have a nap, even if it's a few seconds. Just monitor, like when they've both had a bit of a nap and that, then you can just move them completely into a cleaned out and fresh cage together then. you need to make sure that it's a fresh cage though, because it gets rid of the scent. See, now he's having a bit of a rumble, but rumble strutting is normal behaviour. So that's literally nothing to worry about. I'll just take you in a bit closer as well so you can see. See, I don't want to scare them now. But this will genuinely, even with the other baby, this is genuinely what will happen because of him being a baby. I will say, probably the only thing you would have to worry about is obviously when the young ones go through puberty, because it's sort of a pecking order. You may get, obviously, him and the other baby have a bit of a who's second in command sort of thing, but genuinely there isn't no issues because the older one will immediately sort that out. Oh, sorry, bear with me just But see how he's following him around as well, that's a really good sign. The fact that, oh sorry, my fingers now. The fact that they're chatting like that as well, if you listen. That's really good chatting, and he's obviously, see, they're just eating together, that's really good sign. See, you can see how he tried to take it out of his mouth and there was no aggression or nothing, which genuinely means it's a good bond. Luckily, they're actually both really good natured, so I can't see there being any issues whatsoever. See, that noise then was a bit of a telling off noise, but again, completely normal. I don't know who's doing it though. Oh, there you go though. But so I'll just quickly run you through it again. So basically you want a neutral spot. So like obviously I put these on the living room floor because neither of them have been on the living room floor. So there's not going to be any spots. It's new to them. Lots of treats, lots of different piles, and if you can, water bottles as well, or bowls of water, just so that there's no bickering over water bottles and that as well. Obviously you can just try it without hideys to begin with, considering the babies, and this is typical. I mean, my babies, I normally just bring them straight into cages usually because you really don't get any issues, but this is the safer way of doing it. Obviously it just makes sure that they have got a good bond, especially like I can bung them into cages and that, because if they suddenly decide they don't get on, I can mix and match around until they do as well, whereas obviously you can't do that. So doing the bonding here is really recommended. But just bang them in, plenty of piles and that, let them nap, and then straight into, oh bloody, oh sorry guys, bloody balloon, partner's birthday. But yeah, so plenty of piles that they can share, let them roam, get to know each other and that. Just monitor. As the only concerning behaviour I would say is if you get any lunging at each other, or if they do physically start fighting or anything. But things like rumble strutting and that is absolutely normal, and I'll send you the list on that as well. Let them nap. Then once they've napped, straight into a freshly cleaned, obviously descented cage, and let them decide who's who. And obviously don't put his Heidi in because he obviously sees that as like his little Heidi because he loves it. So it just means it won't cause a territory issue if you leave it out. But obviously when you put them back in the cage, you can put the bean Heidi back in. Oh, sorry, sweet. But there you go. I'd say that's really successful bond. This is what you're looking for with the third one as well. Just literally do this. I will now leave them in here. I'll put the Heidi back in now, and I'll leave them in here for like an hour or two, just to sort of get to know each other and like mutual ground. And then I will obviously clean the cage out and that, put a fresh fleece in for them and pop them in, and they should be absolutely fine. There's no issues. Plenty of treats, always treats. But that's about it.